Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today, gonna be a ZVZ Brave Noob World, sent to Snipermonkey at the email address in the description. If you want me to cast your Brave Noob World, send it to Snipermonkey with the subject of Brave Noob World. Make sure it is bronze or silver level first. And he'll watch it and let me know which ones are the best. He got 3 over the last 2 weeks, so your chances are good to be cast on this channel. Top right, we got ourselves BabySwiss with a spinning radioactive symbol for a logo. Asks for a pause. Bottom left, we have Priolith, who is a Blue Zerg player with a spinning... Wow, Raynor and Mengsk and Kerrigan? And, oh, I'm spacing on his name right now so bad. Raynor's best friend. He shows up after getting released from prison and then betrays him. And then Tychus Finley. What's up, Tychus? See, I know you're here. Hatch first in it, Priolith into Pool, which I don't know is actually a build, but Pool there at about 16 supply. Okay. On the other side, BabySwiss hasn't... There you go. Hatch firsting here at 20. Uh-oh. BabySwiss, this is not a build either. Okay, so 21, 19, 18? 18, 17? Something like that. Yeah, I think that might just be more to that BabySwiss had to adjust his mouse. Something was wrong, and that's why his drone count got so high before he expanded. But okay, so in ZVZ it's kind of weird because again, the player who makes their pool first is actually in a spot of trouble when it comes to dealing with being aggressive, right? If you make your pool first against your opponent and you show up and their pool's a little bit later, they're going to have enough lings to deal with you and they'll have a better economy because they delayed their pool, got more workers out. So it's 20 to 19 workers right now for BabySwiss. I mean, Priolith is not making any lings. There he is. He's now making 2 Zerglings. But that's not going to be aggressive lings at all here, right? Right. Ooh, Roachhorn for BabySwiss, keeping the dudes on the gas. Okay, so again, at the higher levels of StarCraft, you can't really skip lings. Roaches are good, but you can't skip that ling vein stage really all that well. Especially not early on. Because if 12 Zerglings showed up right now, BabySwiss is just dead. That's it. He doesn't have any queens. He doesn't have any lings. His Roachhorn's not done yet. He just dies to a ling flood right now. Priolith, thankfully for BabySwiss, is not doing that, but he's getting his own Roachhorn. So both players have made the gentleman's agreement to not make lings and banelings today, which is nice. Which is nice of them, because every ZVZ that I play, you can't skip it. You got to have the lings, you got to have a couple banelings out. If you want to go roaches, you do that. You get the lings and the banes, you wall this off with a Roachhorn and maybe a couple Evo chambers and a queen in there, and then you go for roaches, because ling floods will still kill you if you don't have a wall to fall behind. So both players doing very, very risky stuff here in a ZVZ. Going for roaches. I guess there are a handful of lings here from Priolith, and he's got more workers too. That's not good. That is not good for BabySwiss. You're getting outworkered and out army supplied. Actually, you know what? There's a bunch of lings out from BabySwiss now. It's fine. It's cool. We're not going to worry about it. Overlord scouting in. Again, Overlords... Oh, BabySwiss, don't lose... Ah, one Overlord dead. This one's dead too. So yeah, Overlord scouting is good. At least he is prepared, right? He's got enough Overlords to where losing 2 in quick succession doesn't supply block him, which you have to prepare for that. That is not something that you can just be luckily... Well, you can luckily have that situation. Anyway, lings are attacking here. Wait, BabySwiss got speed? BabySwiss totally got speed for his lings when I wasn't paying attention at all. Just now, I think, though. Yeah, lair timing's still happening. Alright, so that little attack wasn't great. Pretty good defense. Being able to defend with your own lings and a queen against a larger number of Zerglings is pretty strong. It's a pretty important skill to have. So roaches out are from Priolith. BabySwiss third base again. Pretty well defenseless. Man, if either of these players made a baneling, I think we would just see a win from that player. Wait, no! Priolith! Priolith has a baneling nest, and he's making... he has a baneling. Okay, so he has a baneling. So BabySwiss, is he smart enough to send in 1 Zergling? Or is he going to run in with everything, lose all of his lings to that baneling, and then be like, ah, That hurt. That hurt a lot. Or is he not going to move in at all? Is he going to wait for roaches to show up? Maybe he will. But yeah, if you're going to go roach production, having 4 gas is important because roaches are really gas heavy. And just having about 35 to 40 workers on those 2 bases. And the 4 gases. Really important to have the 4 gases. You can make pretty much consistent roach production. There we go. So eats it. Eats a baneling. Yes, is not working. BabySwiss, your army is smaller, BabySwiss. Maybe don't attack into someone who has substantially more army than you and better attack. Yes, this is not working at all. And I think BabySwiss realizes that maybe a little too late, but running's not going to happen. He doesn't even try to run. He could have. Neither of these players have roach speed yet. It's on the way from BabySwiss, but not done yet. Very close. It's just not going to save the roaches that died in that battle. So yeah, droning up here is going to be really, really important. But instead, more roaches, more lings at about 26 workers. I know you're worried about getting counterattacked, and maybe you should be counterattacked by Priolith here, but your priority needs to be getting that worker count up as safely as you can, right? Make some lings, make some banes, make some roaches, and then resume drone production. Get it back up to where you need it to be. We've got a ton of larvae here. Oh, supply blocked. And then getting supply blocked slows you down too. Understandable. Priolith, sitting on 1,300 minerals, hasn't saturated his gases at the natural either. In fairness, he doesn't have a second refinery yet. Doesn't have a second extractor yet. A double Evo chamber on the way from Priolith. Upgrades are always very, very good in this matchup. And, like, here's the problem. What are these drones doing? I don't know what that was. Was he worried about this overseer? Maybe. I don't know why. 3rd base is later from Priolith. So ideally, in ZVZ, if you watch my Raynor versus Cyril ZVZ from just a couple of days ago now on the channel, you'll see how they played it, right? It was Lings and Banes into Roaches and Ravagers, and then some Hydras, and then eventually it was going to be Hydras, Lurkers, and Vipers working together, which is an exceptionally good composition in ZVZ. If you have Hydra, Lurker, Viper, and your opponent doesn't, and you know what you're doing, you just win. You just win the video game. However, it's a pretty hard composition for lower level players to handle. It requires Viper control, it requires really excellent lurker positioning and unpositioning and repositioning, and it's just difficult, like extraordinarily. Anyway. Anywho, 3rd base popping in from Priolith. Ling's moving out. I like the queen count from BabySwiss. It's 5-3 here. Priolith doesn't really believe in queen count all that much. Roach count is 19-9 though. Dude, if Priolith just goes, I think he wins. But that's the thing. With your roaches, you're worried about getting counterattacked with Zerglings, right? You're worried if you move out with your roach army, then Lings wrap around and kill your entire economy, and then you're in trouble. But at some point, you gotta go. And if you have the speed upgrade for roaches, the Glio Reconstitution, you're less worried about that, right? You can get across the map much more quickly with that speed upgrade. You don't feel like you're taking forever to get there and leaving yourself exposed. Also, Priolith doesn't believe in setting new rally points for his 3rd base. He's completely forgotten about that. Priolith sitting at 48 workers to 50 for BabySwiss, but he's got better saturation counts because his 3rd base is actually helping. There we go. And then he's transferring some workers over there too. Liking that. Liking it a lot here. Is he using his evolution chambers? He is. He's working on +1 Carapace and +1 missile attack. He's got some Hydras out. Okay. Roach Hydra. Yeah, if you didn't watch my game, my ZVZ, featuring Raynor and Cyril from again earlier this week, my rant here is that Roach Hydra is really good. Roaches buffer for the Hydralisks. They tank for them, while Hydras sit back and deal their insane amounts of damage that they have a hard time getting off sometimes if they're getting directly shot in the face while they're attacking. So if the roaches take the hits, which they can do because, again, they have armor, they have more HP by a substantial amount. It's 90 HP to 145 for the roach. I'm going to have a good time. Man, this is a primal skin. We haven't seen this in a while on the channel either from Priolith. Very fun. Very, very fun. More 16 Hydralisks in production. It is only 47 to 48 workers here, but Priolith is floating cash and BabySwiss is not. So that's another thing. If you can spend your money better than your opponent, you're going to have a pretty better time. than if you're sitting on a 3,000 mineral bank, for example, which Priolith is doing here. So now, whereas I think earlier Priolith would have been able to move across the map and just win, BabySwiss, I think, now can probably just move across the map and win, as long as the Banelings don't connect on the Hydras. If the Roaches can absorb those Baneling hits instead of the Hydralisks, then I think that would just be a great victory. Also, Lurkers are kind of just... Lurkers are maybe a win condition in ZVZ at the lower level, too. You don't have to go full Hydra, Viper, Lurker, but just having Lurkers that just set up here. There's no Overseers in Priolith's army. He has 0 Overseers. Nobody has any Overseers at all, actually. So Lurker sets up like here, 2 or 3 of them, and blah, 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 blah. Everybody dies. I guess you could Corrosive Bile where they are. Priolith maybe could do that blindly. I like the Ling attack here. Beautiful. Priolith going for a 4th and a 5th, which, man, BabySwiss has some decent game sense to shut that down. All right, that's what we're talking about. This base in a little bit of trouble here, too. The entire army going to respond to it. That's a pro tip for today as well, is do not send your entire army to try to shut something down like 4 Zerglings attacking your hatchery. And by that, I mean you're not actually shutting anything down at all. You're letting that one die. Lings are going to get a queen. Lings have upgrades. The Lings do not have upgrades at all. These are 0/0 Lings with speed. And yet they're going to get this hatch. If they had +1 attack, this would already be done, but doesn't matter. Nope, they killed a hatchery. 4 Lings without attack upgrades, let alone a Adrenal take down a hatchery by themselves. That should really never happen. So the opposite side of sending your whole army to deal with a problem is only sending it after the thing is dead. That's not great. So Priolith, he wasn't going to attack, but he's decided, you know what? Now's a pretty good time to attack. Let's, now that I've lost my 4th and my 5th attempt, here goes nothing. There are no Lurkers. These Hydras are in the front. I don't like that for them at all. Ah, Baneling's really causing some problems here, but get everybody around. And there we go. Everybody around and through here. Look who's the Roaches of BabySwiss are on the back row. That's not good at all, actually. Army value for BabySwiss is going up, but only because he's making 12 Hydras right now. Priolith going into Roaches, which I kind of think that's a great idea for him. The Hydras are trying to stand in and fight, but more Roaches joining the party. Yeah, the Queens aren't the concern. You need to be attacking the Hydras right now. The Hydras do have no attack upgrades at all, so this is 1-1. Oh boy, 1-1 upgrades from Priolith, no upgrades from BabySwiss. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! And BabySwiss wins, but what? But what? Dude, Priolith, you have 13 Roaches. You have 13 1-1 Roaches. You have enough money to make so many more Roaches. How much larva do you have? You could make 7 more Roaches. You have 1-1 upgrades. Your opponent has none of the armor or attack upgrades. 13 Roaches kills these. 13 Roaches with 1-1 especially wipes this out. The end. Dead. Dead to the world, those Hydralisks are. Premature. The premature GG gets Priolith here today. Priolith, I hope you're watching. I really, really hope you're watching this, because by golly, look at this. Look at this. There's BabySwiss. He could make some more Hydras. He could make some Roaches too, right? He's got 1. He's got 14 larvae available, 1,700 minerals, and 700 gas, and enough supply to do it. Both players actually really, really heavily supplied for how much army they have now. I guess that's what happens when you have a big army and then everything dies. Blah. BabySwiss gets the win, but it's got to feel a little bit unearned for this guy, doesn't it? Both players lose extremely similar numbers of resources here. Obviously, more Roaches and Ravagers from Priolith and more Hydras from BabySwiss, because that's the tech choices that they went for. Actually, Priolith did lose 8 Hydras in that game, so he was going some Hydra stuff too, like behind his own Roaches, which we were talking about. But it's 46 to 46 workers. I just... Dude, 1-1 Roaches versus Hydras, especially in equal supplies, are going to do fine, especially with the +1 attack and +1 armor. Like, and I know you think your opponent has 4 bases and you lost your 4th, but this is alive. Brrr, prematurest of GGs I've seen in a while. But hey, that's what Brave Noob World is about sometimes, is people playing, you know, not ideally, not up to the level that StarCraft players normally do. And that's fine. That's fine. They're learning. They're learning from experiences. They're getting better. One of the things I can always recommend to players is watch your own replays. Right? Watch your own replays. Win or lose. Especially if you lose. Watch your own replays and be like, huh, I was floating a bunch of cash that game, says Priolith. Huh, there really wasn't a lot from BabySwiss at the end of that game. I probably shouldn't have GG'd out. Right? So that's some good stuff to check out there. You can watch your timings. You can see that I got this gas late. I should watch for that, etc., etc. I mean, if you're BabySwiss, I would recommend getting lurkers out. If you're making this many hydras anyway, getting to lurker tech, which isn't that hard from this point. You just make a lurker den, and then make like 2 or 3 lurkers, and then lower level players just don't usually even have overseers at all. So you can kind of just win that way. There's no detection at this base whatsoever. I mean, hiders did it, but in the end, lurkers make it a little bit easier in this matchup than really all matchups. All right, cool. So that is going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void in a brave noob world. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.